All right, welcome back to the Auto Authorities podcast. My name is Jay and Gerald coming to you live. We have a major implication on our hands potentially coming very, very soon, and we want to make you aware about it. It's the threats to the car supply. What do I mean by that? You'll have to wait and find out. Are you ready to do this, Gerald?
Sure, let's go.
All right.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride while buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay, and this is the podcast to tell you what to watch out for, whether you are buying, selling, or repairing your car. With over 26 years of automotive experience, we are the Auto Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent.com. We're real estate agents for cars.
Booyah, welcome back to the Auto Authorities podcast. We are going to be talking about the threats to the car supply. And what do we mean by that? You'll have to wait and find out. Before we get going, I want to thank our sponsors, iAutoAgent.com. I like integrity, autoagent.com. They're real estate agents for cars for the personal side. And if you have a business with a fleet of vehicles and you have a lot of headaches managing your fleets, they will handle everything from end-to-end management for your fleets, including the buying and selling and handling those tedious tasks, including finding that very hard to find new or pre-owned fleet vehicle. Or if you just want your own individual vehicle to buy, they will handle finding the vehicle, dealing with the dealership, getting the deal set up where all you're doing is going in when you approve the deal, or they'll have it delivered directly to your house or business. And then we have Gerald Bentley with Dealership Rescue and Wrestling with Sales. Gerald, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, dealershiprescue.net. If you have a car dealership, you're looking to dial in your marketing campaign, looking to dial in your CRM management a bit, that's what we look at, and also do some sales training. You can go see our podcast, Wrestling with Sales, on YouTube. Right now, we have a podcast featuring Tiana Mick. T got your keys from Dealer Synergy, Sean Bradley's company. She's talking with me about using social media to help promote your dealership. Really interesting. Get a preview of her presentation coming up at the next NADA right there on Wrestling with Sales. So interesting stuff. And it's something that dealerships are definitely starting to move into because it's free. Basically, you just need to pay somebody at your dealership to kind of get it going and run your social media, or even better, get your salespeople engaged in it, have a plan, and then they can use the social media to promote themselves and promote the dealership. So it's a great way to get some free media.
All right, awesome. Well, if you're just joining us, you can literally watch us on YouTube, the Auto Authorities YouTube page. Leave your comments below. Leave your questions. We want to hear from you. We're worldwide. And if you want to watch us live, we're at 12 p.m. Tuesday on the Facebook group page. You just click the join group button. You can even watch us on LinkedIn. And you can also listen to us on your way to work on iTunes, Pandora, Google Podcasts. And you can go to the autoauthorities.com also and leave comments and questions, whatever you would like. And if you also would like to be a guest on the Auto Authorities, let us know. You can go to the autoauthorities.com. If you are in the industry and you would like to share what you do, you might just be able to be a guest on our show. Wow. Gerald, I'll leave it to you. Let's talk about the threats to the car supply. What's going on there?
Hey, it's interesting because the big headline over the last few weeks has been that used car prices are coming down, right? They're cratering. They're dropping. The sky's falling. Well, they dropped 4%. They've gone up about 60. So it's not that huge yet. It's good they're starting to come down because they're way, way, way too high. But it's not quite safe to get back into the used car waters yet because Automotive News reporting wholesale used car pricing set to rebound. Just dropped 4%, but it's set to go back up. Used car demand is picking up as wholesale prices went down a little bit. The lots are starting to get thin. that's going to mean it's going to start going up again. And what would be the biggest reason that could possibly make used cars in high demand? Well, there's no new movie promotions, right? San Diego's Comic-Con just happened, and there wasn't the big Marvel Cinema panel. There wasn't a big DC panel because the Screen Actors Guild's on strike. The writers are on strike. And they're on strike largely because of streaming services. Their revenue just isn't the same as it was with broadcast media. And that may kind of lean into what's coming up maybe real soon, a UAW strike, United Auto Workers Union. Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and General Motors could be going on strike, and possibly because of new technologies coming in. Just like the Screen Actors Guild, just like the writers, they're going on strike because they don't want AI and streaming to take away their money. You may see the UAW draws a line in the sand because of EVs.
Wow. This is huge, and this is not going to help our supply problem at all. It's going to hurt. And what happens
Yeah.
is if they do that, then it's going to get harder and harder to ultimately get those vehicles. Then it's going to push people into other brands of vehicles, which is then going to put a squeeze on that, which
hmm
it's a trickle down effect. That's
Sure it is.
exactly what it is.
And when you think about it, this last quarter, Ford ended up as the number one brand for the first time in 3 years. Ford and GM stepping up. Ford's on pace to be the top brand, and General Motors outsold Toyota. So the number one, the number two brands in terms of sales in this already depressed inventory time
Mm-hmm.
maybe having to shut down for a little bit if they go on strike. And that's going to drive your car prices up. And a
Mm-hmm.
big motivation that could be causing that strike is another headline you're seeing everywhere right now. EV battery factories opening up all across the country. Panasonic's building a $4.5 billion factory just a few minutes from where I'm sitting in Paola, Kansas. They're not going to be represented at this point by the UAW. Ford is building EV battery factories all around. Hyundai's building them. Samsung's building them. Everybody's building the factories.
Mm.
So just like the actors are trying to get on the front foot ahead of the streaming, ahead of AI changes in their job, I think the UAW workers may be trying to get ahead of an EV wave, because we know one thing with certainty between EVs and internal combustion engines. There's a lot less parts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less parts. I mean, you're talking, what, 3,000, 4,000 moving parts in a regular car? EVs, you're down to like 100.
Yeah. And it's going to be more.
Don't need as many workers.
And I think you hit the nail right on the head there, is that and some of these workers, like especially for GM, and because they're right here in St. Louis,
hmm
they've been doing this for 20, 30 years. They're not going
Sure.
to have a job, and especially with AI, and even though it's not the same, but like even Amazon, I was talking with somebody that they had worked there, and now their responsibility was actually go in the baskets, pick it up, put it in the right bin or whatever. Now they have robots doing that, and like this is really crazy. Like this is stuff we've never seen before, and that's also going to be another issue because there's a lot of UAW workers employed that are going.
Yeah.
What's that going to do to our economy now?
Well, and I think you're coming to a head because and it's on the screen here. The print's a little bit small probably, but there's plenty of factors that are leading into this that hopefully they get it solved, but there's a lot of things that are pushing towards a strike. How about this? Right now, there are 9.9 million listed jobs in the country. There's a total of 5.8 million people available to work. I wasn't a math major, but I'd say that puts the workers in a little bit of a strong position. There's half of the available work, there's half of the workers out there available to fill jobs that are currently listed. That's not even saying you need to create more jobs. That's just jobs that are sitting right there now open, almost 10 million. So, you know, math kind of tells you that it may well be a time to go ahead and call a strike, especially if they want to get some things etched into this next contract to
Right.
kind of hedge their bets against the EV move.
They have a lot of leverage, that's for sure.
And a lot of change. I mean, there's a lot of change. So even if everything goes great and they're negotiating on a good pace and they want to get everything handled, it could still drag on because there's a lot of complicated issues. It's going to be a dramatic change, especially with brands saying, okay, hey, we're making a hard push to EVs. I mean, they've already said that Buick is supposed to go to all EV by, I believe, 2025. Now, we'll see if it happens, but that's their stated goal. Ford is looking to have separate business units. Ford Blue is going to be their EV unit. Toyota just hired or promoted a new executive for their EVs and said that they're going to have battery ranges up to 900 miles within about a year. So you got a
Wow.
lot of change coming.
Oh yeah. No, this is big, big news because like once one thing happens, the next thing happens. A perfect example is what happened in our with our pandemic. Whoever
Sure.
thought that like one virus would change our world so much? And as we watch these things happening in our world, it's going to change even if you're not looking for a car. I assure you this will affect you.
Yeah, well, heck, if UPS goes on strike too, that's definitely going to be a factor. That's going to have all sorts of ripple effects, even just getting cars serviced and getting parts. So it's really a very tumultuous, cruel summer, if you will.
It really, really is. So if you were, like putting yourself in the consumer's shoes, Gerald,
Hmm.
if they were looking to, so they have a car right now and they're thinking about buying another car, what would your recommendation be for them?
If, well, two things. One, if you see the car you want to buy, you've done the research, you found the car, say yes, because there's not a lot more coming, you
Mm-mm.
know. Uh, if you see, say you're looking for a Ford Maverick and one happens to be there, maybe somebody backed out of an order, the car's there. Say yes, because the order bank is a year and a half long. If you don't say yes to that one, it may be a year down the road.
That's what
The
I'm.
inventory, unless it's a Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram dealership, it's not there.
No. Well, and also even used cars too. Like
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you on that. Is that this is a great time to buy because I think that the Fed, based on what I'm reading, is going to at least raise the rates one to two more times before the end of the year, which is basically not even a little bit more than 4 months remaining.
Hmm.
And they're going to raise it twice. What do you think that's going to do?
Well, it's not going to help. I mean,
No.
I don't even know how much that's really hurting the consumer right now. Obviously, you're paying a little bit more, but I think it is having the effect they wanted because it is cutting the demand down because we're creating a huge, huge surplus of pent up demand in the automotive market. Right now, estimates are saying that we're something like 8 million sales behind what we should have had in normal times during since the start of COVID to now. and driving the rates up, decreasing the inventory is only going to build that up. So it should be a really busy time for automotive sales the next couple of years, because
Oh,
I know this. If I was running for president, if my friend Grady here was running for president, or if I become the president, the thing I would want to do is cut the rates down. And he would, because he wants to make sure that everything works out well for him. Cut the rates down
yeah.
and drive that economy into high gear. Rates go up, rates go down. So that's not going to stay
Yep.
forever. If you
Oh,
see the
yeah.
car you like, don't get into the weeds too much negotiating the interest rate, because you can come in prepared. You can do a Cap 1 pre-approval. Doesn't hurt your credit. Most dealerships have their inventory listed on Cap 1. You can actually do a VIN-specific pre-approval and bring it in if you really know the car you want. You can go to your credit union. You got our friends there in St. Louis at Neighbors Federal Credit Union. They'll give you a pre-approval, VIN-specific if you want. So you know what the rate's going to be. Get your principal cost down. Get the cost of the car down as much as you can. That's not going to change. The rate could go down. You're not going to feel too good about yourself if you negotiate the rate down, you say yes to the price, and then APR drops 1.5 points, 2 points next year because shockingly it's a presidential election season and the rates go down. Well, you locked yourself into the principal, but you negotiated the rate. Bad
That's
move.
that's a golden nugget. What you just hit is a golden nugget, because you are right. Take the deal now and refinance in a year or two
Yeah.
years, because your principal is what you paid for the vehicle, and that's something that you can control. You can't control interest rates now, but what you can control is how you react to the market. Like you said, the interest rates are gonna go back down. What goes up has to come down. What goes,
Yeah.
it's just a fact. That's a great point. I hope that you guys really do something with that.
Yeah. The rate only matters if you run the loan all the way out to the end, which most people don't do anyways.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I mean, most people were hopping out of their loans in 3.5 years on a 5-year loan, but like now, you said 12, 13. And just another thing that you said that is so important to realize is we have so much pent up demand right now
Yeah.
for vehicles. In the next year to 2 years, if you're if you're at a car dealership, you're going to be loving life a lot, because people are going to be flocking in to buy cars. You don't even have to be a good salesperson. The dealership rescue company doesn't even have to really even do anything, because
Yeah.
you're going to be order taking at that point. And then with the EVs coming out and some of these lower price EVs, we could talk all day about it. But wrapping this up, Gerald, I mean, I guess time will tell to see what happens with this strike and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting couple of months, and you could have a major issue in the supply of cars. So just
Absolutely.
keep a lookout. And obviously, it's UAW, United Auto Workers. So we're talking Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, and Ford, Mercury. Yeah, not Mercury. They're dead already.
Right.
Ford and Lincoln.
Right.
Those are going to be the ones that would be affected. So the other
Hmm.
brands, they'll keep going, but the other brands are maxed out right now and kind of tied up. And I just wanted to get one other headline in because this one was kind of shocking to me. JD Power's initial owner survey dropped for the first time in back-to-back years in the 28-year history of it. You think the cars now are better than they've ever been, right? Well, yes and no, because the single biggest reason why the JD Power initial quality survey dropped is because people can't figure out the radios. Can't figure out the radios because, they want to dial. I mean, I don't need 20 buttons to listen to AM sports talk,
Mm-mm.
but that's where we're at now. People want CDs. There's no CDs. And the formats are being changed. Just something else to watch out for, because the companies are wanting to get out of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and go to their own format. Why? Because they can sell the information as you're using it and they control it. But in changing those infotainment systems, they're plummeting their initial quality because people don't understand how to use their own cars.
Good point. Well, everybody, leave comments on our YouTube page, The Auto Authorities. Go to the Facebook group page. Let's listen to us. Watch us on LinkedIn. There's so many different ways you can connect with us, and send us questions or comments to theautoauthorities.com. We'll help you any way we can. Gerald, have a great rest of your week. And everybody, we'll see you next week. Peace.
See ya.